Live. We're live, ladies and gentlemen. We are live. Right. Look at this. We are playtesting. Okay, so using P scale. This is what you put in to Claude. Anything, as long as you have the P scale MCP. Okay, which is relatively easy. Just put in a URL at some point in the back end. And it comes back with this. Ba -ba -da. Got it. Ba -ba -ba. Right. Okay. What should exist? That's good. Okay. Fardel. Who's Fardel? Fardel is a disgraced prince who travels alone, rogue, looking for redemption. Hippo with a rapier. Boom. Okay, so this is just your bog standard Claude, apart from the fact it has P scale MCP. Okay, so basically, I've set up a game on a place called Beach, and we basically have made the internet a beach. That's the underlying philosophy or practice. And on this beach, create a little sand castle, or in fact, a keep, Thornkeep. And so it looks like this is working, which is good. Right. Right, okay, what do you do? Okay, I need a drink. Where's the nearest? Where's the pub? Where's the inn? Oh, God. Observation. This one's slightly different from the other one because I want to see what's going to happen. Because what's happened is that I tested this just once before, so this is not like a world premiere, but it will be soon. And you know, it's basically an adventure, isn't it? Broken anchor. Ah, damn. It says you're alone at the fire. All right. So. Okay, this might not be working. I don't think it's working. That's a bit of a giveaway. Okay, that is pretty wacky. Now, how do I combine these two side by side? Okay, because it's a really annoying system that sometimes happens, and then when it happens, it's like really annoying. But now I'm trying to actually get it to work, and it doesn't quite merge. The tedium. Okay, so what do we do? I can't remember. So I think they probably got rid of it because it was such a crappy system and people didn't understand what it was doing. It was really crappy. Oh, there it is. Boom. So, okay, and this is Trust. This is the character I had before. So basically, what do you do? Okay, so the people, fishermen, two others at the back. Okay, and this is the issue. It's not in sync, and it never will be. But it's to do with how I've kind of come up with a method that potentially works. Everything that I do is a potential, and the fun bit is the potential. That's why I enjoyed kids in classes, because it's always the potential. It's not, okay, at the end of it, they've managed to achieve this thing. And if you go into a class thinking at the end of this, you're going to achieve this thing, and then you tell them at the beginning, this is what you're going to achieve by the end of this, it's dull. It's just dull. Yes, there are some teachers and there's some kids that it works and all this kind of stuff. But quite frankly, it's just dull. Whereas I usually like, here's a question. What do you think of that? People, don't know. And then we try to explore things. That's for me the good thing. Or you show them some bit of maths. Okay, so this is the thing we're meant to be learning. Okay, how does that work? And then people kind of come up with things. Okay, let's try this. Let's try that. Oh, this is a good way of doing it. And so it's just more interesting. So it's the potential. But if you go into a class with you are potentially going to hear something you've never heard of before, that just sounds like fun. Because for the kids, that's the experience they have. Is they're going to a class and they've never heard of anything like this before. Okay, they have. It's some more maths. Okay, or it's history. Oh, it's more killing. Right. What are the new ways we're going to discover in history where people killed each other, murdered each other, plotted against each other? For some kids, it's kind of fun. Right. Okay, so the old warrior. Okay, so what do you do? Well, it doesn't want to be bothered, but let's buy him a drink. A drink. Share. Offer him my sword. My sword. My hand. The sword. Okay, now this isn't synced. Okay, so you'll see what happens. It's quite interesting. So this player's gone, oh, here's a player. So I'm going to go and bother this player. But as this player's doing things, okay, this we're doing sequentially, but at some point we're going to maybe do simultaneously and we'll see what happens. Needs to loading. Pool tools, that's what it should be doing. Pop boy. You see, and this one doesn't know. Okay, so, okay. Anything happening? Wait. Keep forgetting. Hit the big button! Now, you'll notice this one's quite different. Look how it's done this. It's actually, in its thinking process, it's actually communicating with me, whereas this one doesn't, which is quite interesting. Oh, shoot. Oh, that's Sonnet as well. Okay, then it's like, oh, right. Now, there's not a correlation in the meanings because this is a very basic version. So it's to do with how the narrative cohesion, how cohesive do you want it? How articulate, how accurate is the narrative? What? How do I know his name? Things like that. And I've spent a reasonable amount of effort on the proper version, which maybe I'll share later today. This is just a very basic version that's played through Claude, which is pretty cool. Right. So all of this stuff about buying drinks and everything else hasn't been recorded as an event. It should be. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so it's making decisions as to what to do, and they're not quite in sync because I think I'm going to say that check intent pool, liquid pool. Okay, so has it changed? I'm sure enter was. You see? Right. Right. Right, you see? And so none of this has happened. And that's the trick. How do we get narrative cohesion? However, not bad. Okay. Is there any way that we can track this? Probably not. So how do we how do I even go about tracking this? Because it's a completely different architecture. Interesting. Two players, two tabs. Oh, what I'm going to be doing is creating an agent. So we are going to have AI characters wandering about doing stuff. But if we don't get this bit right, then it's not much fun. Two players, two tabs. Connected. However, connected. They are in the same room. Amazing. But their narrative is not cohesive enough. So events are not being recorded, perhaps. And liquid is not being used, perhaps. Please review dialogue separately. Dialogues below. Check the state of Thornkeep. I don't know. Code base on the beach. I don't know. It's not even code. That's the thing. It's beautiful. There's no code. Check the state of the blocks on the beach, and review the actual process that is meant to be working according to spec. Don't code. Don't code. Just analyze. Okay, so we have this chat and Druss. Fardel and Druss. Fardel and Druss. Okay, so number of issues, and we can't deal with them all. We need to get the basic direction sorted through liquid pool. I think events and the order. Okay, so yeah, it's good enough for an experiment. I don't think we're going to carry on with that. Do you want to have a look at the other one's harder to do with two, because actually I haven't tried it with two tabs, because it's using these are not using local storage, whereas the other one is. And I'm wondering if we could use the beach instead of local storage. Could we put everything onto the beach? And we're accessing the beach. The problem is the beach is an open public space, so that means anybody can come in and kind of like edit anything, unless we protect it, create effectively green, it's called, or we make them grey, which means that other people can't write them. So either we make them kind of solid so they can't be edited, and we can make them gray so other people can't see them. Why stop other people? Why prevent other people? Why don't we just make it public? So that's fine. I think we don't have to make it gray. It's called gray. You want to like keep it secret so only the players know, can read the content. But if we make it transparent, which is default, and we make it basically green, so that they can't be edited. Let's find out. Okay, there's a lot of stuff, isn't it? Right. Okay. Yeah, exactly. It's going to be tricky when you have NPCs, playing characters interact. That's going to be the hardest, obviously. However, the liquid is meant to be that job. That's what it's meant to do. So discovery worked. Yeah. 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 Okay. It usually says what's working and then it goes to failures, but there is some success, obviously. Must call. Yeah. Yes. Your turn ends at intent posting. No. Okay, so what's happening is that cleverly set up liquid so that you put in your, so imagine if there's 100 people and they're all at the pool. That's a lot of noise if they're putting in lots of things. And it's not a chat board or whatever. So what happens is you put in your, whatever you're wanting to say, and then everybody else is doing the same. And then what comes back is a synthesis of them all. And so in order for that to work in anywhere close to real time, it means that it takes all the liquid since the last time you put in your comment, and it delivers all that to you. And then it also combines your comment in there. So it should work for this as well. But the problem is that because we're talking about events, it means that the events that your LLM comes up with are different from others. So it needs to deliver that back like immediately, because otherwise other people are going to be doing things and they get back and they create what happens. And so there is this fine tuning of timing. And either we just put a gate on it in terms of the timing, and then the idea is the LLM creates its narrative, and that's what we did with the original. So it has to create a narrative, and then that gets pushed back, and it becomes the canon. And everybody else basically translates that into their version of their whatever their character sees. Slightly different than the liquid. It's like, okay, so when we're doing the extreme, people put in the liquid and somebody hits the synthesize button. And once they hit that synthesize button, it's being created by the person who hit the button. So potentially you can get Opus or whoever's running a quite an expensive version to do all the hard processing. Is that how it's done? Okay. However, for this version, I think we've got something quite clever where the events that are produced is actually constructed by a different LLM that's not related at all. So it's like a cost. The cost is you process what other people are doing somewhere on the other side of the planet. And so whatever you're doing, that gets processed by another entity, comes back, then might be another check by another entity that goes, yeah, that makes sense. And then it's delivered. You see, it's trying to work out all this chat stuff. It's not, it's structural. No, it's all this chat. No. Okay. Well, no, the first one isn't. The first one is position. You're looking at, I think there's a structural level to examine. Which you maybe. Please concisely the resolution. How liquid pool operates. Party, ideally. That calculates events before response. Design. But it may not have got through. So what's current operation and what's spec? So let's see. Is this one? Yep. That's a lot of work. Millions of us are just doing loads of work on these things and build it. So basically it decides to do something. So it tried to copy a software view in hard, and then I went, we don't have to do that. We don't have to import it. So we're not trying to create that. We're not trying to create this. So what can we do? Yeah, that's the one. A claim is a lock. I'll take this one. Don't touch it. Multi-resolver. Yeah, multi-resolver. Oh, drop the claim, right. Checker. Yeah, that's what I thought. That's it. Yeah, that's what should work. Right. So, I thought so. So, let's see if that's verified by Cloud Code. It just starts talking about there is no third party. As if I'm meant to know what I'm talking about. It knows what I'm talking about. It thinks that I know what it is talking about, and I do, so that's fine. Nothing watches, nothing interprets, nothing writes events on behalf of anyone. The only logic, yeah, that's right. No push, no timer, no mediator. Game, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh no! What the fuck? What is that? The Onen dog. I didn't give it the Onen dog. What piece? Where's the Onen dog? Where's the Onen dog? Oh God! I have to. Okay, look. Onen dog. What Onen dog? For the beach. Claude created this Thornkeep game scenario structure based on the fact that we were not reproducing soft, medium, hard. But we were maximizing the current beach structure and liquid pool isn't contained in the dog. This big. Okay, review credit is open. Oh, right. Okay. Sure. For a which is tasked outcome. Sends liquid. Event. Versus someone else's receives whatever has generated or processes someone else's. Still a problem because it's a different big group. So. Event synthesis of full blue art. Is this described in the spec? It's not really a spec, that's the problem. Okay. The spec describes the medium layer. What the? It's a beach crab. No, that's butter. To avoid the need for a beach crab, because that's a cost. Yeah. Okay. Server enforced intent shape. No, server enforced resolver identity. Oh, resolver identity. Self-resolution control. Doesn't trigger resolution. I have to go away and think about this. Okay, so I've already come up with a solution in the first version, and that was one creates the narrative and the other ones just basically transpose it into their versions. But that was working on per turn. And I wanted an async version. This is naturally async. So as far as I can tell, something has to go away, create an event, decide what the event resolution is, I'll put it back into the liquid. And then, or into the actual, in some kind of event block, or in the spatial block as an event, as in a hidden thing. Using star operator, I think, maybe. And that means that the LM, when it checks, so when it does its liquid, but the trouble is, yes, it will be included. When it's being checked, there is a bunch of events that have happened. And so it's just added on to the previous event. It's the rate at which this happens, because if everybody's putting in something and it's triggering something to do this, at what point does it trigger it? Because it can't trigger on everybody whenever they put in into the pool. It's got to do it every so often. And this is the problem. And I've got it in the other one as well. And what should happen is there should be a kind of bouncing back and then convergence on what the events are, and then the creation of the narrative. At some point, one of the things says, right, this is what's happening. And it's whether we can be bothered doing that. It's not excessive, but it's basically okay. So imagine this: I put in my thing, it collects the liquid since the last time it produced an event. There's an event thing, and other people put in their liquid. But okay, when I do, it looks at all the liquid up to that point and goes away. Comes back with, here's potential next event. But in that meantime, somebody else is putting a liquid, something else has gone off, and here's the event. And then another person puts it in, and so there could be a kind of mismatch. But what's happening is that you're getting this event, you're getting this event, you're getting another event, and there should be a correlation between them until at some point or other, a decision is made that this is the event. Okay, this is canon. And I think that's time-based. I think it's just, we can just do it mechanically. And after a period of time, it just goes, bugger this is the event. It's the most up-to-date version we've got. And we have to ignore what the previous event resolutions were between the last proper event and the next and this new one. So all the intermediary events kind of get discarded. Meanwhile, we're saying this is the event. Meanwhile, if it says this is the event, while the ones are sitting there trying to work out, there might be still a couple going out there trying to work out what the events are and haven't come back to yet. So there'll be like maybe 2 or 3 liquid that haven't been included in this event. That's okay. It just says, okay, this is the case before those liquid. Delivers that to everybody before this, and the thing has continued, which means that no, they won't, because they will be operating with the understanding of the previous event. So when they come up with, well, this is what we think is happening, this is what we think, oh, wait, that's different than what we thought. And so it's this kind of, there's a kind of overlap and lag, but because we're not dealing with microseconds, it means it's like seconds. We should be able to do this. I think that's doable. Okay, so that's my version. Let's see what Claude Code has come up with. We're also only using medium. You're running the sand pattern. We're. Yeah. Yes. Right. Right, isn't there? Right. Tonight. Yes. 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 Right. Whoa. Okay. Yes. Aha. I should have recorded that thing and then put it in. You used to have a microphone and then it changed it back to this because the microphone. Oh, there it is down there. Detract on the aging. Of the soul's temple. Sketch. Wire shape. Okay, I'm going to see if this works, but it might not work. Okay, I would like to see if what I'm about to say makes sense and it tracks with you. What's happening is that when we could have event markers, and whenever anybody puts in new liquid, all the liquid since the last event marker is sent off to be reviewed, and then a potential event is responded. In the meantime, maybe other liquid has arisen, and every time a liquid happens, it's sent off to be resolved. And so you get this sequential arrival of events, provisional events, that should correlate, okay? Until at some point, a decision has to be made, and it's probably based on time, that now is the time that this is the event that's going to happen, the last event, basically. And then it marks it as this is an event. Now, that still means, and therefore everybody that was before that event, the liquid, get informed of the actual event. Now, there still will be some lag of some liquid content that hasn't been included within that confirmed event. And that is just continued on with more people putting in liquid. So it's always going to be out of sync, but only by a little. And so the people that put in the last comments will not be included, but then they will not be getting a response. The only people getting the response are the people that have put in liquid and have not put any more liquid in since the event, the resolved event has been decided, was sent. So there is always an ongoing liquid resolution in process. Obviously, this only works if there are enough players. So we will have to operate with beach crabs in the intermediary until there are enough actual players to do this event resolution as part of their turn. Does that make sense? Does this solution fit your C1 and C2 3A? Fit yours? Does it fit your C1, C2, C3A? Or is it completely different? 3B. It's a bit trickier. My suggestion. Or do your okay, so okay, so this is quite a different path than, what's the other path? The other path is something that looks like, I don't know what the hell. Beach, there it is. You push yourself up from where you're nursing your drink. Okay, so this is the current play.onen.ai, which is different from onen.ai, okay, which has got its own version, the original version. This is the second version. This is the extreme version, although I do actually have extreme.onen.ai, but for some reason or other we put it into play. Actually, I don't even know. In fact, let's have a look. What is at extreme? I think I didn't want to change it because I was slightly worried that the play wouldn't work. That's always these things, because there you go. So there is a version there. So we've got multiple versions, and this has got a room right there. Oh. I thought I actually did something. No, I don't know what it does. And there's a character there. That's the character, Drub. This is quite nice, and this did work. But this is us basically carrying a lot of the weight of all the processing. Whereas the beautiful thing about this little baby is that it's going through your own Claude. So we don't actually have to, this one here, oh God, this one here, you have to put in your own, does it actually show you? No, it doesn't. Probably should include it here. Your own API key. So this one, you bring your own API key, whereas with this one, you're playing through Claude. So big difference, but less control. And we are attempting to see if this can work. And here we go. That's a wire shape. Look at it. What's that? Isn't that a wire shape? Okay. Bilateral. Pair-based. Wire shape. Okay. Changed. So that's modified form. Server reverse and both needs this, where they diverge. Possibly quadratic. No. Paired actions, they're not. Three possible rules, each with a different character. Quiet window. N seconds of no new liquid confirms latest provision. It's not bad. Conversational matches laptop. Risk inactive never confirms. Quorum of provisionals. K independent resolvers reduced. Yeah, I like that. It's K resolvers available. Obviously, if there's two, then it'll be two. Oh, God. Deliberate confirm call. Any non-current can call to crystallize imperative matches the GM saying, okay, that's what happens. Risk, who has the authority? That's the risk. Or just time. Why don't you just do time? I suggest quiet window. Yeah, okay. Okay, great. One detail. It shouldn't be quadratic. I don't think. Quadratic, because each liquid submission is triggering an event call. Because each line is triggered an event resolution call. To a player who is currently awaiting a response. To a player who's currently awaiting a response. So it should be linear. So it should be linear. I think. Equals. Equaling. Equaling the should be equaling the input number. Okay. Oh, it's not hermit crab. It's a beach crab. Okay. Also, we have detail. Second detail was okay. Your triggering confirmation rules might work with a timer. So after a certain amount of time since the first resolution call, this is the first one. Oh, maybe it's the first liquid. Maybe actually, no, maybe first liquid. First liquid. Or the remaining liquid to be processed after the previous resolution, confirmed resolution. In fact, first liquid. So after a certain amount of time since the first or in fact first liquid, or the remaining liquid to be processed after the previous confirmed resolution. The round might be 10 seconds, perhaps. So a bunch of players put in liquid, and after 10 seconds, the most recent event, the most recent to confirm. After 10 seconds, the most recent resolution is committed. However, when I think about this, make it much simpler. After a round, e.g. 10 seconds, Since first liquid after last, what you call it? Confirmation. After a round, since we're going to each 10 seconds, the new request is made. And once complete, delivered, it is committed. The new request is made and once returned, committed. Meanwhile, delivered. Meanwhile, those and is delivered and is committed and delivered with the timestamp of its request. Meanwhile, those who have added liquid are already on a new round. So this is simpler, closer to the original version. We can add the rolling resolution per liquid later, if required. Does this make sense? Let's go for extract. Bang. To extra high in order to process this properly. Max bang. Just the core engine. Needs to be well, okay, for this to work, okay. Simple and closer to the original version. We can add a verifier or move to no, that's Max. And it's going to do it. What's the memory of this thing? It is at 200K. This is the cheapest way for us to go forwards because it costs us nothing. Okay, so I'm always into solutions where it costs nothing more. But then it's like, well, how do we make money? And we make money by securing this, doing a backup of the super base so that people can return to the game that they had if they have any problems, their character or everything else. And so that costs money. That's all it is, basically a backup service. That's all it is. So the beach is like open, do whatever you want on the beach. But if anything goes wrong, there could be issues, and we've got a backup service. That's all it is. That's our business model. Yeah, that's it really. All right, enough of that. Do you see? This is again another little insight into how we're working. That's the right call. Okay, very good. Okay. Ooh, look, it's taking time. Look at that. I'm working everything out here. I'm at max. Every single thing that I'm writing out here, I'm thinking about, like, with my entire brain. Whereas if it was like medium, it just goes, I've thought about this. Okay. Looking good. No. You've got it. You specified. Please build. Please build. Or we fork and create a completely new version. Grit RPG. I like Grit. It's the first pool. Thinking that Thornkeep first pool of something bigger. Onen RPG. Great. it said first pull. I'm like, V2 editions. Max! Give it Max. Give it some deep Max thought. Max headroom. Max. Okay. Right. It's good enough. Right. So one, I was demonstrating this, and from this comes all of this. And so it looks as if we do have to do the beach crab as part of this. Yeah, well, such is life. Hope you enjoyed this, and oops, stop sharing. Thanks very much for taking part in my little life at the moment.